edition of the Contractor's Secret Weapon weekly podcast with your hosts, Dave Negri. This program is dedicated to helping contractors, remodelers, painters, roofers, roof cleaners, and business owners in the construction industry gain an unfair advantage over the competition. This program supplies you with information that the competition doesn't even know exists. This session brought to you by ContractorsSecretWeapon.com.
Hey, this is Dave Negri with Contractor's Secret Weapon, and today I have Scott Dennison with me. Scott's been a guest on our show before, and he is an SEO guy, and he just finished a book, Becoming the Top-Ranked Roofer, and but we're not going to talk about that right now. We will talk about it later. But first, because Scott lives near me, we've had breakfast a couple times. The last time we had breakfast, Scott had said something to me that I thought that, and as it resonated with me after we left, I said, Scott, you got to come back on the show and talk about this. And he agreed. And so we've been here talking about other things for about almost an hour. And we're not going to release that because it's for us only. But
we're going to keep the secret.
We're going to keep the secrets. The pre-podcast.
But we are open to bribes.
Yes, we are. So when we may sell it, let us know, guys. We'll sell it. But one of the things that we talked about at breakfast that resonated with me and just made me think about is that Scott had talked about Google's coming out with a whole new mobile platform, and if you don't have mobile, you're going to be left in the dust, even if you have a decent website. So I wanted to bring him on and have him talk about that and where it's going and how you as a contractor can circumvent that or add to your, however it works. See, I just know how to talk. So, Scott, I want to thank you for being with us today and sharing the expertise you got with the SEO whole system and what we want to talk about indexing the Google's whole new platform they're building. So tell us about what they're doing.
Well, Dave, it is a great topic because it affects every single listener that you have that's in business getting business from the internet. So, if you want to know if this is a show to be tuned into, paying attention to, maybe stopping what you're doing and taking some notes, the question is a very simple place to start is, are you marketing your business online? Because if you are, then you're affected by this. About a year ago, maybe I think it was April of 2015, Google kind of threw down the gauntlet and said that you had to have a mobile website, you had to have a mobile version of your website, or they were going to penalize you.
Right, I remember that.
It was referred to as Mobile-geddon. Everybody thought this Armageddon of the mobile indexing was going to be huge, and it started to roll out, and it did roll out, and an awful lot of people lost visibility in search because of the poor quality of their mobile website. And that was really just a function of having an older site that wasn't really set up for mobile. Now, an awful lot of you might be going, well, I took care of that. I checked that box one day because I had a guy call on me or I received an email and I bought a mobile website. And so you had, if you were to see it in the browser, you had an M.dot version or a mobile dot version of your site. And the guy that built it for you made it look a lot like your regular site. But what you had was actually two sites. You had a desktop site and you had a mobile site. Many, many others solved the problem by building a site on what they call it's a scalable platform. It resizes for whatever size browser. And that means you could use one site. You could have a desktop site that would render and look beautiful on a mobile phone. So you still, in that case, you just needed the one site. Well, that whole thing kind of trundled along for a year, and some people lost visibility. Some people lost spots in search, and they lost sales because their visibility was down. And Google was just sort of watching the trend in the marketplace that more and more people were accessing Google using a mobile phone. In the year 2016, the number of searches on a mobile device exceeded or surpassed the number of searches on a desktop site.
Wow.
Consistently. It's now running about 55 or 60% of searches worldwide are occurring on a mobile phone. And when that became the case, Google shifted again. And in the last 6 months, they've moved from this concept of mobile readiness being a factor in where your site ranks to being the primary ranking factor. So now, if your website is not mobile ready, you're being removed from the search engine.
Wow.
It's not 100% removal, but let's just say that they're creating a whole new search engine. And all of the content in that search engine, all the pages that they're indexing will be the mobile pages of your website. So, if you have a website that scales and renders properly on a mobile, then you're fine. But if you are still using your MDOT site, you may find that the content isn't very good there because you probably haven't updated it or changed it or even checked it, maybe since you built the site. In many cases, people have these mobile versions of the site. They don't even know how to access them. They don't know how to change them. They don't know how to fix them, and the guy that built it is long gone.
And they probably forgot they even have it.
Probably forgot they even have it. And they wonder why more people aren't calling them off the mobile platform because their site doesn't look very good. Well, Google's decided if your site doesn't render properly on a mobile phone, then you're not a serious player. And they've had problems trying to get a clean and really fast and really excellent environment for people searching on mobile phones, and this is the way they've chosen to do it. They're basically created in the last few months, and they've started rolling it out in December, a whole new Google that is populated with pages from mobile websites only.
Wow.
And now your desktop site, their official position is your desktop site is fine. If you don't have a mobile site, it's fine. We're not going to remove you from search, but we're not going to include you in this mobile index either. So since that most people are looking at mobile now, you're sort of screwed. You're going to miss almost 60% of the traffic right off the top.
Wow.
So if there's 10 people in your community that are looking for your services today, they're not necessarily looking for you. They're looking for what you do. If Google has decided not to show you because you don't have a proper mobile site, or they put you at the very bottom of all the other sites that are mobile ready, you're in a dogfight that you're going to lose. So it's become really, really critical that we have sites that are really built for the mobile environment. And, not only in the mobile environment, it's got to render properly, but it's also got to be really fast.
Okay.
Just the mobile environment, it dictates speed over most of everything else.
Yeah, because
the pages need to load really fast.
Yeah, because people don't have a huge attention span anyways.
Right. So the first thing I would want to do is just tell everybody, don't overthink it and don't spend a lot of time worrying about it, but stop what you're doing in the next 24 to 48 hours after you hear this recording and go to the website and test it. And Dave's going to include a link to where you can go to the official Google site and you can run the test.
Yeah.
Here's some of the things that they're looking at. Is the print easy to read? Are all of the site's pages, all the pages that you have, are they visible to a mobile user? Did they all get indexed properly? Is your navigation functioning properly in a mobile environment? Can you change from one page to another? What about the pictures? Are you able to see them? More importantly, do they load quickly? If you're getting no's to any of those answers, then you may have a problem. And if, in fact, you do that, if you feel like there may be a problem, let's say you ran the first test and you're mobile friendly, the thing says you're mobile friendly, but in asking yourself some of these questions about, well, the print's not all that great and the navigation is a little small and I got some pictures that are missing and they don't load very fast. Well, if you answered yes to any of those, then you might want to proceed to another 1-minute test that we have, and we'll give you the link to that as well.
Right.
And the combination of those two tests will tell you if your site meets their criteria for being mobile ready or mobile friendly. And it's really, really important because if you're going to be invisible to people that are searching on a mobile phone, as the percentage continues to increase, because we'll reach a point where, those of us who have laptops and desktops are just going to be old farts, and we'll be obsolete, just like our computers.
Yeah, well, and it's getting me to think as while you're talking about, the mobile platform against the other platform and everything being done, the quickness and the speed of the, the mobile. And now you've got your SEO'd for your other platform. How does that affect it shouldn't affect the mobile because they should tie together if it's a fast upload and it's does everything right. But what if it's not? And how do they get to the point of, I guess I'm just going to say the point of reconciliation. How do I make this right so that everything works right?
Well, I think the first thing you're going to want to do is take the two tests. And if you realize that there is a problem and you need to adjust it, the first thing I would do is find the guy that built your site. If they're still in business, if they're still an associate or an ally of yours, call them first and ask them what are they doing with people that are not indexed, they're not set up properly for mobile. If you have no confidence in that person, then there are a number of ways to search for people who are really, really good at this. And there are many people at hand who can help you to get your site mobile ready. I would think for many of the people listening, the fastest and most direct path to a bright future in Google is to physically just rebuild. And it's a reasonable question to ask, how long ago did you build your site?
Yeah.
If it's been more than about 3 years, you've fully amortized the cost, you've written it down, you've written it off, and investing in your marketing is always deductible. So rather than send the money to Washington, invest in your business and get a new website built.
I agree.
Gives you a chance to update your look, maybe have some people help you to generate some really great content for your site, and mostly make sure that your sales process is thought through and works properly. That people are being moved from one page to the next according to how they would learn to buy from you.
Right. Yeah, now's the time. If you have a flyer for a website and you're about to change, now you want an interactive website.
Yes, you want a website that's engaging, but as much as anything else, you want it to be mobile responsive. You won't find too many people that are just flat out building mobile versions of websites anymore. That kind of technology is sort of like the Betamax of the 70s. You don't see much of it. It's still around, but it's very, very limited. Almost all of the new website designs these days, themes and website designers are all using responsive designs. And that's a word you should write down and keep fresh in your mind, because when you're talking to a designer, you need to make sure that your site will resize for any device. that's visiting.
Right, because now you've got laptops, you've got notepads, you've got Kindles, you've got cell phones. Yeah, so you got the whole gamut now.
And your site should automatically respond to whatever's calling it up. And if you do that, you'll have one site, you'll have great content on it, and you'll be rendering beautifully on all the different devices, and you'll be completely safe from this.
That's pretty awesome.
And if you're thinking, did he just tell me to build another site? Did he tell me to spend money on this? I said, yes, I did.
Yes.
But here's one of the things that you should consider. A whole bunch of your competitors don't even know about this.
Yeah.
So you're in essence spending their money because you're going to move up in search, and they might very well be moving down in search because of this.
Yeah.
And you'll have extra money to spend right there.
Down and out. That sucks.
So, yeah. I mean, for many business owners, marketing online has been tough. It's a challenging thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a good team, you can get there. We work with some roofing clients across the country, and that's our primary audience is roofing clients. And there's 1 in 100 that will actually invest in their business at the level that it takes to have my team help them. That doesn't make anybody bad if they don't do it. It doesn't make them wrong if they don't do it. These are just people that realize that this is what I'm best at, is putting roofs on houses.
Right, and they're gonna maximize the effort to grow their business and do whatever it takes to get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in essence, that's the answer I would give is yes, you want to have a new site for 2017. It's a new day. It's a new time. We got all kinds of things shaking and loose in the economy. We could very well be about to have a boom in our economy. There's an awful lot of positive things happening when they change the tax structure and they reduce the regulations.
Yeah, it'll free up cash.
If there'll be cash available,
and
I just think it's a really, really good time. And Google's got it. They've sort of given it the urgency by introducing this whole new search engine and slowly beginning to phase out the desktop search engine. I mean, it might take them years to phase it out completely, but you don't really want to be on that end of the equation where you're only in that index.
Well, not only that, but here's the thing. It's that I'm thinking about. For guys that they end up getting left behind or slow to move. Let's put it that way. That they're going to have to double up to get caught up later. So why not just go with the flow now and play the game in the very beginning, because that's the thing to do.
Well, when I was in a discussion with a guy a while back, and he was putting up a pretty boisterous argument over how unfair it was for Google to do something like this to him. And he's like, they don't understand. I don't have the money to spend every time they turn around and change something. And I said, I understand. I can't argue with you. But you can't argue with them because they're not listening.
Right.
And he continued on with his point that, it's just not right. It's just not fair. And I said, let me ask you something. He lived up north. And I said, when the weather changes and it gets cold, and it eventually turns to snow, and it's cold in your house, what do? He goes, well, I turn on the heater. I said, okay. Now, how ridiculous would it be for you to sit there and tell the room that you're in, if you just give me some heat, later on I'll go get some wood and I'll put it in the fireplace. But I need you to give me some heat now. The environment you're in would just sort of chuckle at you. The ghosts that exist there, they would just laugh at you. They'd go, what do you mean? You get heat from putting the wood in the fireplace. You don't tell me to give you the heat first and then you'll give me the wood.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. Well, it's the same kind of thing with this. It's been said for years that if you don't invest in your marketing, then you don't have a business. It's really a hobby. If you don't buy advertising or you don't advertise, you don't really have a business. And when the web came along, a lot of us got really fat and sassy and lazy, and we took the money that we used to spend on Yellow Page ads, and we said, I could go buy a new boat with all that money. Because they thought the web was free. I mean, you could send email for free, and you don't have to pay for all this stuff anymore. It's all free. Well, folks, the corporations have moved in and seized control, and there's toll booths everywhere.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
And if you don't pay your toll, you're not going to pass.
That's right. You get stuck.
So now it just comes down to a simple question. Are you still looking to grow your business? Because if you're looking to grow your business, then this is what you've got to do. It's no different than if you woke up and you didn't feel well and your doctor said, well, it's because you've got this illness. He's going to tell you got to do this protocol to get better.
Right.
And you don't have to do it. He can't make you do it. And I can't make you do anything in your business. But I can tell you that you're not going to get better if you don't take the medicine.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's up to you guys. It's up to you on what you want to do. You want to see how long you can last before it affects your business, or do you want to jump ahead and know that it's going to affect your business in a positive way because you're set up and ready to go?
In a very positive way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather be ahead of the game.
I mean, there's little things that Google does that are just very they're very cool for people that are doing business on a mobile phone. Within this framework that they have called Google My Business, which is google.com/business. That's the local search system that Google built. And within there, if you've filled out some of the lesser, small things that they ask for that a lot of people just overlook, like the hours of your business.
Right.
Well, when that translates into a mobile environment and somebody searches on a mobile phone and they pull up the map, there is a special designation for the businesses that are open in the vicinity of where you're searching.
Ah.
So if you're open till 7 and somebody's at 6 o'clock driving around in the area of town where your office is located, looking for what you do, you'll stick out on the map like you've got a beacon. And the map will say, this guy's open, and the others will all say closed, or they won't have any indication that they're open.
That's pretty awesome.
Who's going to get the call?
And you didn't have to pay for that.
You didn't have to pay for that. It's something free that they're doing.
Wow. Because there again, like you've always said, Google doesn't care about you. They care about their customer.
Well, that's a really important distinction to make, because a lot of us who advertise with Google think that Google should give us a little more credit and treat us a little more like the customers that we think we are. And Google says, you're not my customer. Yes, you spend money with me, but my customer is the person that searches on Google. And all that Google cares about is giving that person who goes to Google and searches for stuff a great experience. So if your site is not rendering properly, or your site is really slow, or if your print is really small, or if your navigation doesn't work, or pictures are missing and broken, they're not going to hold you up there with the people that are serving their customer better than you. You're going to rank below those people, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain amount of business that's available to you just by being visible. And if you play the game right, You don't necessarily have to be better. You just have to be more visible.
Yeah, that's the key. Visibility. Wow, that's really awesome. All this cool stuff. So, number one, we're going to put up the links on the show notes, and then if you guys are on our email list, we'll send those out usually the next day. And so, Scott, how does everybody get a hold of you if they're a roofer? And even if they're not a roofer, Scott doesn't mind if you get a hold of them.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to people. I talk to all sorts of people in the trades, especially. I'm a big fan of the blue collar guys that are in the trades. So my primary site is called Top Ranked Roofer. TOP ranked RANKED roofer.com. TopRankedRoofer.com. And there's a lot of good articles there. There's a whole lot of content there. Some tools that are free and available for you to use, and if you ever wanted to look at some of the things that we do for other customers, there's some good case studies and things there as well.
Cool, that's awesome. Thanks so much for being with us. So, guys, we're going to cut this off because we didn't want to talk about his book, but we're not going to run it through. So we're going to just stop the recording, and then I'll start up another recording if you want, and we'll talk about your book, Scott.
Yeah, it sounds great.
All right, cool. So next week's part 2 on Scott's book, Top Ranked. And if you haven't been by the website lately, go by the website. We've got some free stuff for you. 15 secrets to getting to high-end homes and communities. So take advantage of that because I want you on my mailing list. I've got some important stuff that I'm going to bring up. And it's going to be an invitation only. So if you're not there, you can't get invited. Have a great week, and we will talk to you next week.
Thanks for joining us for another weekly episode of the Contractor's Secret Weapon podcast with Dave Negri. We would love to hear your comments about this episode, so visit us online at www.contractorsecretweapon.com and let us hear your thoughts. If you were listening via iTunes, please leave us a positive review. The more positive reviews we receive, the more other contractors will benefit from this show. Thank you, and see you next time here on the Contractor's Secret Weapon podcast.